While waiting for the lye solution to cool down, let's prepare the oils. This recipe uses three oils: coconut oil at 35%, palm oil at 35%, and olive oil at 30% for a total of 100%. I'm just making a small batch of soap. A total is 200 grams oil weight. We need a digital scale, a plastic container big enough to hold our oils and lye solution when mixed together, spatula and stick blender for mixing. So instead of using different containers for measuring each oil, I prefer just using one container, and I'll show you how I do this. So to measure, place your container on the scale and tare the scale to 0 grams. So let's check our recipe again. We need about 70 grams of coconut oil. Now, for beginners, there's a tendency to go over the weight of your oil. So when this happens, just get a spoon or use a dropper and remove some of the oil to adjust the weight. Once you have 70 grams, press tare to zero the scale. Next is 70 grams of palm oil. So we measure this in the same container. And once you get 70 grams, again, press tare to zero the scale. Lastly, we add the 60 grams of olive oil. Now, once all the oils are weighed in and combined, use the spatula to mix the oils very well. So we set this aside and get ready for our next step. Now we are ready to make soap. Our lye solution has cooled down to room temperature. It should look clear and not cloudy. I'm just adding 5 grams of sodium lactate, which will help harden the soap as it cures. We have to check and make sure that both lye solution and our container of oils are at room temperature before we mix them together. So for beginners, I suggest we start using a spatula before using the stick blender. Pour the lye solution straight into the oils. Do this carefully and slowly to avoid splatters and spills. Remember, our goal here is to mix this very well to start the saponification reaction. Mix gently for a few minutes and you will notice that the mixture is getting thicker and it's becoming cloudy or milky. We have to continue mixing until we reach emulsification, wherein the oils and lye solution are thoroughly mixed. If we continue to mix this manually, it may take up to 30 minutes to 1 hour to emulsify. So we don't have the time and patience for that. So the solution is to use the stick blender. Now we switch to our stick blender. We keep the head of the stick blender below the mixture to avoid splattering and to minimize air bubbles. We will stick blend in short bursts while checking the thickness of the soap batter. This will only take like 1 to 2 minutes. Now you can see that the soap batter is getting thicker. This is what we want to start happening, but we're still not there. We can still see some layers of oil or streaks of oil on top of the batter, so we still need to mix some more. Using the stick blender also helps move everything around faster so that the lye and oil molecules find their partner and saponify. What we want to achieve is what we call trace. Now I can see this is thicker, well mixed, and getting to trace. I'm switching back to the spatula so I can get a better feel of the consistency. Now the batter has reached the thickness similar to condensed milk, which is called light trace consistency. This is what we want. When you lift the spatula or when you check the sides of the container, the batter sticks to the surface and you don't see any oily layers or any oil streaks on top. This is the perfect stage to pour in the mold. So we just want a pourable consistency, just like what we have. Gently pour the soap batter in the molds. If the soap was poured into the mold before emulsification, the soap would not harden or set up properly. There may be pockets of oil or lye pockets, which is not good. If you notice that the mixture is getting thicker, that's perfectly normal. Just try to move a little quicker and you can use your spatula to push some of the soap batter into the molds. So we did not add any fragrance or colors to this recipe. So it's very simple, very basic, perfect for first timers or beginners. As you practice and improve your soap making skills, then you can start using soap additives like plant natural extracts, fragrance or essential oils, different colorants, clays, and herbal powders. We let this rest and set to harden in a dry, well ventilated area, away from pets and children. Remember, this is still caustic. It still has a pH of 14 and the saponification is still happening within the soap for the next 24 to 48 hours. Now we wait for 2 days and I will show you how to unmold the soap.